it has been 2 videos that I've been saying we're going to do this thing with the cat. Let's actually get to it. All right. This is going to be a little ugly. You've already seen the concept. You've already seen the preamble. So we're just going to kind of get into making the cat group. So I'm going to make a new cat group, and I'm just going to call it cat group. You got a better name than that? I'm going to make a group, and I'm going to hit enter just to, so I know, hey, I'm going to be, oh, look, when I hit enter, it actually indented it for me. So Python does like that. I'm actually going to start putting my cat together. Now, I actually already did all of the work I need to make my cat inside of these 2 functions. So I'm going to copy and I'm going to reuse that, right? I'm going to be a little lazy here. But it will end up saving me time. So I'm okay with doing this. All right. And what's the last part of the cat? It's just the head. So we're going to take all the parts of the cat head. But here, before, we were passing, and I guess I can move this to end there. Bada boom. You can see how when I have my cursor here, it's highlighting the top one. That's how I know that I have, look, I put my cursor up there. It's highlighting that bottom one. That's how I know I've opened and closed the parentheses. So, okay. When we were doing this as functions, we were passing values, the mouse X and the mouse Y, storing it as head X and head Y, storing it as X and Y and the color. And that's why we have all of this relative to each other using X's and Y's, which is a good skill to know. But with groups, you kind of get to go back to using these magic numbers and just kind of plug in numbers in. So I'm going to assume that it's my default cat, which is, I'm saying default cat would be like it's 0, 0. And we'll make it a black cat. So anything that's just X and just Y, or just head X and head Y, I'm going to make into 200. So the X and Y I'll make 200. Boo, 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 boo. Here, the 200 that I was assuming is my default one, it's 200 minus 10, so it'll be 190. Similarly, minus 15, it'll be 185. This will be 210. This will be 185 again. And I'm just fixing this stuff that is an artifact of having done it in functions before. When you're doing groups, feel free, go hog wild. You get all your magic numbers, no variables, no creating things relative to each other. You can write it that way, but I find that students often are like that. They don't like doing this using like X minus 20 or Y minus 25. So we'll just use our magic numbers. So this will now be 200. We're going to make 180. This will be 175, 175, 175, plus 20. So this is now going to be 220. The color that we were sending it was black, so I'm just going to say black, and I'm going to go ahead and copy that because we're going to use that here for this color. We're going to use that here for this C1, and this we're going to switch over to 200, 200. Now that I've copied all that stuff into my group, I'm actually going to go ahead and delete my function calls, delete my draw cat function stuff, boop, get that out of there. And now when I run this, okay, when you're making a group, because it is really one object and every single thing in here, like in our circle group before, each one of these is just like each one of these, the 300, 210. We're putting it in separate lines to make it easier for us to read, but really, I could have put them, just one after another with the commas separating them. Here, when I did this, I didn't put the commas. That's why I got an error. I need to put the commas. That being said, this is way uglier, this line 1, than doing it one line at a time to be like, oh, I made a polygon. I made a circle. I made a circle. Here, I need to be, I made a circle. Where do I go? Where do I go? Oh, I made a polygon. So we have to do the commas because they'll yell at us if we don't. But I like putting it on different lines because it makes my code look readable and pretty. So put a comma there, 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 no comma there, because that's the end of my group. Now let's see. I made my cat. I made the head at the end. This was the head that I copied from there. So if I just move this up to the very first part of my group, we should be looking good. I didn't put a comma after this one. And I'll have to remove the comma, right? Because this was the very last one before. I didn't have a comma afterwards. Now that this is the last one, I better remove that comma. And this parentheses randomly on this line back here looks kind of ugly. It still is, right? You see it highlighting up over there. It still is matching with this guy. But so we need it, but I don't like it on its own line there. So we'll do that. And now, we got our cat head. And now that we got our cat head as a group, just like we were moving this group of the, this square and circle with the triangle in it together, I can treat this group just like I've treated any other object in the past. I can say group.centerX or centerY or .fill. All the stuff we knew before from previous objects, we can do on a group with a little asterisk of it might do weird stuff because it's changing everything's fill all together. It's changing, all the things all together at once. So just be careful with that. And the group is its own thing. When I change the rotation, it's not like these ears are going to spin. They're going to stay relative to each other. Groups kind of get a little weird. We will talk about children of groups in the next video. But let's just deal with what we got in front of us now. So I'm going to be lazy again. And I'm just going to switch this O to cat group. And this O to cat group. And so now I'm saying, every time I click my mouse on mouse press, I'm going to change the cat group.center X to be equal to the mouse X. Or my cat group.center Y to be equal to the mouse Y. And now, finally, instead of making new stickers of a mouse, 3 videos to get this done, we've got, not our mouse, it's a cat. We got our cat head following our mouse around as I click in a nice, easy way, right? We made the group, and then to move it, we just had to change its center X and center Y with my mouse. And, this just, it works for anything, right? I can do, if I want to do, and here now, I keep thinking, because I like playing video games, I like doing games and stuff like that, let me do on key press, and then I think key, right? Well, you can name it whatever you want, right? I just think it only needs one key. Is it keys? You know what? I'm not going to play around with this. I'm not going to let myself get tripped up because I don't really remember how on key press works. I guess you can see how the meat's made, right? You can see how the sausage is made. Let's go to the documents. On key press. And by the way, this is a lesson in and of itself. Little mini lesson inside of this bigger lesson that's going on for way too long. Which is, I'm glad I split it up into 3 videos. If you don't remember something, no shame in it. Just go check the documentation. Look it up. Google it. That's fine, right? You're making cool stuff with this. You don't need to memorize everything all the time. So on key press, it takes a key, label the value equals key. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, it is just, it's not a list of keys. I thought there was something that had a list of keys. Anyways. Ooh, I hope I'll blur that out in YouTube. I don't want people to see the notes. All right, on key press key. And then I'll say if, this is all extra by the way. If you're still hanging around, you're like, I got it. I understand how the groups work. That's fine. I'm just showing you, you can do all sorts of stuff with it. So say if key equals W, I'm using WASD. I'm going to move the group up. So I'll say cat group dot center Y minus equals 5. Let's test to see if that's even going to work. No. Oh, I think it's just in quotes. Yay, it worked, right? So now I get to move my cat up. And you get to use groups like in any way, right? And then I can now do an elif the key equals A in quotes. We'll move the cat group dot center X because I want to move it to the left minus equals 5. And, you can see where this is going, right? I'll say elif the key is equal to D. The cat group, the WASD, so D is going to go to the right. And I could say else, but that would mean that any other key on the entire keyboard would do it. So I'm going to keep another elif. The key is equal to S. We're going to do this, but plus, And now we got a fully functioning cat, little character that can move around the screen. This is moving kind of slow. Let's change these all to like 20. Boom, 20. This cat's moving now. The cat can kind of jump around the screen like that. So just to show like everything that you were doing before on objects that you stored as variables, you can do with groups. A group is just another object that's kind of a collection of these different objects inside of it. And in the next video, we're going to explore how things react to different, center X and center Y seems to be moving the center of that group. If I change the fill, it's going to change the fill, I think. I mean, let's just try it on mouse press, or let's do on key press. If you don't do WASD, let's do else cat group dot fill equals yellow. And if I try this out now, I can move my cat around. If I press any button other than WAS or D, yeah, it's changing the fill for all of the smaller objects inside of that to yellow. The circle got changed to yellow. This regular polygon from pink to yellow. This other circle, all got changed to yellow. Where the center X and center Y, it's actually finding some central point between all of them and moving them all kind of relative to each other automatically. Anyways, I have been rambling for at least the past 5 minutes of this video. I hope if you were, not interested, you stopped the video like a couple minutes ago once you got the idea like, oh, this is how groups work. If you stayed with me to the end, I appreciate it. Keep up the good work, and I'll see y'all in the next one.